Welcome to ACCA P5 Revision Mock Debrief. Let's start with the first question. It is always very important to start with the requirement so that you know what you will be looking for whilst you read the scenario. A part of the question for 6 marks is saying that we should briefly explain what is meant by gap analysis in the context of strategic analysis. We've also been told that we should use a diagram to explain. Now, once the examiner tells me this, I know that from my knowledge, from my studies, whenever I'm talking about the gap analysis, class, realize that this, you don't really have to go through the scenario at all to be able to answer it. This can be answered without any reference to the scenario. So I believe that coming here, what I'll say here is that A, I'm looking at gap analysis. Gap analysis, I can tell the examiner that gap analysis actually starts with we identifying the identification of the planning gap. It starts by looking at those, assessing if the business do have any planning gap at all. When we talk about planning gap, we believe that planning gap is the difference between the required return and the forecast return based on current activities. And we said this will bring about the planning gap. Once the planning gap has been identified, the next step will be to develop and implement strategies to close the gap. The next step over there is where we actually use gap analysis to test if the strategies are closing the gap. This is what we can say that this is gap analysis. The examiner actually said that we should use the aid of a diagram to explain what we're saying here. So what I'll do here is that this is what I'll do here. I'll tell the examiner that, look, this is where I am currently. That is my current. So from here to here is my current here. And I'm believing that if I continue actually operating the same capacity, then that might be my forecast. That might be my forecast, yeah? Once I've been able to identify my forecast, I compare my forecast to my required return. That will be my required return. Therefore, the difference between these two here will be my planning gap. And this is where I'm able to actually implement strategies to actually close the gap. So that is what I believe most of you do in the A part. Looking at the second part of A, the second part of A is saying that I should also briefly explain the use of answer of product and market growth strategies model in the strategic planning, providing examples relevant to ASPI to illustrate your explanation. Here, I believe that once I've been able to read the requirement, I need to have a very simple idea of what ANSOV actually said. When we studied ANSOV, we believe that we spoke about two things. The two things here is either are the products and also the market, whether we are looking at targeting existing market or whether we're looking at new market, whether we are using existing products or we're using a new product. And we say that I can actually have a small diagram in mind, and this class is what I would do in the exam. So I have a simple diagram like that in mind. In my simple diagram, I would draw this. Now I'll tell myself that, look, that is my product. And this here will be my market. This will be my market. My products here, I can have existing here, which is E, and the new, which is N. My market here, I can have existing E, and I can have the new here. What I'll tell myself here is that when Ansoff actually did this, Ansoff said, where we are using existing products to target existing market, we say we call that my market penetration here. I will say that the next one here is my market development here. Here I have my product development here. And here I have my diversification here. Now, class, you realize that this will be my very simple concept that I'll use to answer that part of the question. But I need to remember that as I'm reading through the scenario, I need to pick up some examples which will relate to these, and I'll drop them in to score the total of 8 marks given. Let's look at the next one here. The next one is saying that I should calculate. I should calculate the effect of the 3 initiatives identified at the board meeting on the full year net sales revenue gap. I need to do calculations. I need to look at those numbers in the scenario. I've also been told that I should categorize each of the 3 initiatives in terms of Ansoff's growth strategy. So now I realize that there's a link between the strategies that they've been able to come up with. I need to link the strategies to what Ansoff said. Are we bringing a new product? Are we using an existing product? Are we targeting the existing market? Are we targeting new market? Those are the sort of things that I need to be asking myself as I go through there. The C part. The C part is saying that I should calculate and I should analyze the forecast of net customer profitability of each of the 3 major supermarket customers of ASPI during the 2012-2013 financial year. I have no idea what that one is, but I know that when I'm looking at customer profitability analysis, I need to look at the different profit generated by the different groups of customers, and then I can assess which of the group of customers is profitable and which of those that are not profitable. And then I need to find ways of improving those that are not profitable, and even I need to improve further those that are profitable to me. Or I can make a decision whether to actually move on or stay with those non-profitable customers. The next one, E, is saying that I should evaluate. I should evaluate the 3 alternative strategies proposed for the least profitable ASPI's major supermarket customers, and I've been asked to recommend which of these strategies I believe that the company should adopt. So now I need to evaluate. I need to look at the proposed strategies given. I need to assess whether the strategies will be good or not, the good part of the bad part of these different strategies that have been identified. And also I should recommend which of the strategies, the 3 strategies that I believe it's preferred to the company. Now, class, let's read the scenario now. Here I've been told that ASPI is a large food manufacturer making a range of basic canned and bottled foodstuff with a turnover of almost 500 million. Whilst a few of ASPI's brands are recognizable market leaders, notably a range of canned fish and household name tomato ketchup, most of ASP's products are in the 2nd tier of food products. The company also produces a wide range of own brand products for major supermarket companies who produce a large range. We've been told that the company also produces a wide range of own brand product for the major supermarket chain. These are products in packaging bearing the name of the supermarket retailer rather than that of the producer. We've been given the financial performance of the company. We have the year to date, and we have latest full year's forecast and full year's original budget. Now, the examiner says that the prices charged to customers are calculated to generate a gross profit margin before any discount of 20%. Be very careful of that simple information here because you'll be needing it for the B part. Now, the examiner goes further to say that after much discussion about the possible causes of this year's poor performance, the most recent board meeting of ASPI discussed possible solutions. The following initiatives were identified which should increase forecast sales revenue in the 5 remaining months of the current financial year.